So we're starting today with class number 3. I have some people here and some of you that are online. I can see you guys online. So I want you to pay attention to the screen. If you just want to see the screen on your computer, just put it on speaker view, and that will show just my picture for you to see, and for you to see the PowerPoint, and for you to get all the information. Because today I have a ton of information I'm going to release. So I say from the get-go, get your notepad, start taking notes, because today we're going to start the actual development of your business plan and how to develop an effective business plan. Last week, we left it off right here at the assessment. So before I get there, we want to thank the SBDC. We want to thank Matt, and we want to thank the team from Ferdy Dickinson for giving us this opportunity to bring this training to you due to the CARES dollars that have been offered to us in order to help our entrepreneurs. This is our 3rd week. It's been exciting. We thank everybody for logging in. We thank you for taking notes, and we hope that this program is truly helping you. Well, when you look at the assessment here, we started on day 1 with personal readiness. It's number 1. Your personal readiness is most important, most vital, especially in making your financial analysis and making sure that your finances are in order, making sure that you're reviewing your finances, making sure that your plans are perfect. If your personal is in order, your business will be successful. If your personal is all over the place, your business is going to be all over the place. And the first thing I tell entrepreneurs, received a question from one of my students last week about, if you start a new business, is it okay to run from your personal checking account because you're only doing few transactions? The response to that is absolutely not. You run your own business checkbook. You separate them from the get-go. It will cost you about $100 to separate, to open a checking account and do it that way. Is there somebody in the back?
No, I'm just watching.
Okay, so that's very important. The second part of the business process is your idea. The idea is important. Is your idea going to produce the goal that you desire? Is the idea marketable? Is it a good idea? Where did the idea come from? We studied that in week 1. Why is that vital? Because you got to ask yourself, is this idea a hobby, or is this an idea that's going to produce revenue? Can I live off of this? Will clients desire what I have to offer? In order to do that, you have to study the market. And if you were with me last week, we studied primary market, where you do your own assessment. For those that are online, you should be writing this down, because we did primary market, secondary market. What are you doing in the primary market? Are you doing surveys? Are you doing one-on-ones? Are you doing consultation? What are you doing to test if your product will sell in the market that you want to be effective? And secondary studies are those that have been done by the government. I gave you guys the example. I sent it to everybody online. For those that were online, and for those that are here, I gave you the assessment from Dover. And I said, if I wanted to do business in Dover, I go to the census, I get the data. Dover has 17,000 people living there, 50% male, 50% female. The average age is 39 years old. And the average income for a family of 4 is about $64,000 a year. Why is that information vital? Because I would not go, depending on the revenue, and offer a product that's too expensive, because it's probably not going to sell in that type of community. That's why assessment is so important, and you have to do analysis, and you have to make sure that you are studying your market. You have to make sure that your product is going to sell. You got to make sure that there's a demand for your product in the sector where you're trying to be effective. And then we went into organization. And organization is super important, because I told you, and it's part of your homework today, to do an assessment of the skill set that you need in order to make your business successful. If you don't know bookkeeping, you might have to hire a bookkeeper. You don't know anything about the law, you should be hiring a lawyer to help you set up your corporation correctly from the get-go. You lack interpersonal skills. Maybe you're great at what you do, but you're not good with people. You're introverted. Well, then you might have to hire somebody to be at the front desk, to be the smile and to be the friendly person that loves to talk and to communicate with people. So in the organization, you start to develop your team. What do I need in order to be effective? Who do I need in order to be effective? And then we shared a little bit last week about the importance of developing the right team and not being penny wise, dollar stupid. For example, some people think, well, if I paint my own house, I'm going to save money. Well, instead of hiring a painter, well, if I can generate $300 an hour, and in 8 hours, I can produce $2,000. Why would I not pay a painter $1,000 to do the painting when he's got the tools, he's got the skill, he knows how to do it? But sometimes we think we're saving $1, but every hour that you're not out there selling is an hour that you're losing opportunity. So let the experts do what the experts do, and you do what you do. So once you know your organization and you know that you're the salesman, that you're the drive, it is better to hand off lower tier jobs to other workers than to try to do it all yourself. Because the first mentality that we have is, I'm saving money. But are you saving money if you're not out there selling and selling your product? Because nobody can sell it better than you, especially if you believe in the product that you are selling. And then the last part we covered was the financials, and it's the startup cost. How much is it going to cost for me to get this business off the ground? How much is it going to cost for initial marketing? How much is it going to cost for the initial help that I'm going to need in order to make this business functional? So it's so important that these 5 steps to your full assessment are all analyzed, are all studied, that you follow the videos. I put the videos on YouTube for your convenience so that you can rewind, watch it again. I've given you my email for you to write. Some of you have written to me and I've said, I've asked questions. I've been able to answer those questions in order to help you, because my objective is for you to grow. My objective is for you to be successful. But this assessment is necessary for every business, no matter what business you're going for. The assessment readiness is essential. So we asked last week as homework, prepare a target customer worksheet, prepare a competitor worksheet, prepare a SWOT analysis, and prepare a startup cost analysis. All 4 are essential. All 4 are key to being successful in business. Many people want to skip this. Many entrepreneurs says, I'm too busy for that. I just want to jump into business. Businesses that do that usually don't go too far and usually don't grow the way they should grow. So the first thing you should do is prepare a target customer worksheet. Who's your customer? Go ahead.
The SWOT.
SWOT is a SWOT analysis. Yes, sir.
What's the acronym for it?
So you got to analyze your strength. You got to analyze your weaknesses. You got to analyze your opportunities, and you got to analyze your threats. So in your assessment, when you look at your company, you got to ask, where am I strong? And if you're the owner of the company, I hope that your strongest point is selling your product. What is your strength? What makes you strong? What makes you different? Where's your strength as a business owner? That's number 1. Number 2, which many people don't want to admit. And this is why small businesses tend to fail. Because when you tell them, what are your weaknesses? Oh, I don't have any weaknesses. Everybody has weaknesses when it comes to business. So you write down, these are my strengths. These are my weaknesses. I'm lacking these skills. And if you're lacking skills, it's okay. That's why you're going to hire people. I tell people, if I'm the smartest one in the room, there's a problem with that, because then the business can never grow further than me. But if I hire people that are smarter than me, then my business can go to places I never imagined. So you got to never be afraid to identify your weaknesses. The O, opportunities. What are your opportunities with this type of product? What opportunities can really draw in the revenue and the customers that you want? What opportunities do you take advantage of? I tell small businesses, opportunities, go to network events. If you want to get your product out there, then go to networking events. For example, here in the chamber, we hold networking events the whole year. We hold business connections once a month where we bring all entrepreneurs together and we let them exchange cards. We let them express their skill set, their business, they present it to people. I said last week that it was important for you to start working on your elevator pitch. What is your elevator pitch? What does that mean? Can you, in 45 seconds or less, tell someone who you are, what you're doing, and how can we have our first meeting? Essential. The more you believe in your product, the more people will buy from you. If you come hesitant, and I use some examples here, you know, if I was selling this keyboard, I can come up to you and say, well, you know, this is a keyboard that, you know, it works with the Zoom, and it helps you to get hands-free. And if I try to sell to you like that, you're not going to want to buy from me. But if I come to you and tell you, this is a top keyboard, this works with the Zoom, this works with the whiteboards, this helps for you to type any type of information. Not with Zoom, you have a whiteboard. This keyboard will help you type the assignments on the whiteboard to make it easier. It is one of the top of the line keyboards that works with whiteboards. This keyboard will help you to run anywhere in the room, up to 50 feet away, and for you to able to present on any presentation on a whiteboard on Zoom. See, so it depends how you present yourself, but you got to practice that. Because if you don't practice your pitch and you start stumbling, the more you stumble, the less people are going to want to buy from you. And always be prepared for anticipated questions. What are they going to ask you? What are the questions that might come up on your product? For example, if you're a car salesman, at least know how many cylinders and what type of engine and what is the horsepower. Because if you're the salesman and somebody that is interested in that, they're going to say, well, what's the horsepower? I don't know. You know what? Let me read it right over here. That's a salesman that done lost their business. So I tell you, no one should know the business better than you. Prepare your pitch, prepare how you're going to present, and make sure that you believe in your product more than anybody else. That's going to help you in your opportunities and your threats. Who's your competition? If I open a candy store in this corner, who's my competition? Well, my competition can be a few people. It can be direct threats and indirect threats. You know, for example, I was doing consultation with a restaurant that's a mile away, and the prices are way better than the business that's 6 miles away. But the business from 6 miles away is doing great, and the business from 1 mile is not. So I go into his business, and we're talking, and he's like, I don't know, man, I got way better prices. And he showed me the menu from the other side, and his menu is at least 20% cheaper. But the other guy is doing way better than he is. So then I asked the question, I said, well, you got to do a SWOT analysis. He's a threat. Why is he a threat? He says, well, I don't know. I said, I'm going to tell you. So I did the research for him. The other guy, as soon as the pandemic started, he connected with Uber Eats. And he started advertising to the people, don't go out because of the pandemic. We deliver to your house. We'll make sure you get a top service. We'll be there within half an hour of you placing your order. And he was doing all this advertisement of stay home. We're going to bring food to you. While the other guy is cheaper, but you got to get out of your house, get in your car, drive there, which is 1 mile. Okay, I'm not driving 6 miles, but I got to drive a mile and pick it up. The way this generation is today, they don't care that you're 1 mile from their house or the 6 miles. If the 6 mile brings it to my house and I don't have to go, who's going to get the business? So it's not always price. So he was just focusing on, I have a cheaper price. You do. But he's got a better service because his service deals with convenience. So you got to ask yourself, how convenient is my service? So his indirect competition was not pricing. His indirect competition was Uber Eats. Because this guy was connected with delivery and the Uber Eats and all the people that were delivering, and you were not. Because this guy went to e-commerce right away, while this guy was still thinking about, I don't know if I'm going to go e-commerce because credit card charges a charge and this and that. Well, the fact is that most people today pay by debit card or credit card. So you don't want to pay the charge, but you're going to have to pay the charge if you want to do business, because most people do not carry cash. Like I'm sure at the people in this room, I'm sure right there at home, if I ask you right now how much cash you have in your wallet, some of you will probably look at me and say, well, I really don't have, I got a debit card. Because that's the way society is going. So your SWOT analysis, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And then I ask you to do a startup cost. And startup cost is where most businesses mess up and end up getting into debt. For example, if I got to do a brick and mortar type of business, I got to go out and rent a building. Well, if I got to rent a building, I got to go out there and analyze what's the square footage. So let's say I find out the average rent is $1,000 a month to put a little store. Okay, $1,000. But now I know that that landlord is going to charge me $1,000 security. So now that's $2,000. But now I know that my initial inventory is going to cost me how much? So I got to analyze that cost. I also got to analyze legal. I got to analyze utilities. I got to analyze if I hire someone, what is that going to cost me? So you got to take all these costs into consideration. Some people say, well, I don't have to worry about that because I'm going to do it myself. Okay, you're going to do it yourself, but what are the cost of your materials? It's like the contractor. He could come into your house and if he gave you a price last year, I guarantee you that contractor will come back to your house this year and tell you it's about 25, 30% more. And somebody will say, well, why are you charging me more? Well, the cost of materials is up 35%. If I don't charge you the 35%, then I lose all the profit margin and survivability. So I have to charge accordingly. So it's very important that you analyze your costs and what is it going to take to start the business without being in debt. I prefer to tell people, wait, if you can get a grant, get a grant. There's grants available. There's SBA loans that you can get. There's community banks that will do business with you. So it's good to look at all those probabilities to make sure you get your startup costs covered. I tell you to do that on your own because that will help you to better prepare, better equip yourself in order for you to better serve your clients.
What's the difference between a grant and a loan?
A grant is something that the SBA or the NJEDA, or for example, here in Morris County, we're giving out a $15,000 grant to people that were affected by the pandemic. A grant you don't have to pay back. It's like a gift from the agency to you in order to help you succeed in your business and run your business. An SBA loan is something you got to pay back. So a grant is you don't pay it back, but a loan you got to pay it back. All right.
Are there websites that you recommend for grant wise?
You could go into the computer. If you put grants, government grants, you'll probably get NJEDA, you'll get the Morris County grant program, you'll get different agencies that are offering different grants. But right now, for small businesses here in New Jersey, you go to njeda.com, and they have a lot of programs that they're offering, storefront, disadvantaged communities, and different programs that might help you to get some funding in order to help. But you got to come up with a business plan, and the business plan requires the 5-step assessment that I gave you in the beginning. Right. So that's super important.
And is there do you have a location where you can communicate with them, or is it more like an online?
What you got to do is online. NJEDA, if you go NJEDAonline.com, it's all online, and you're able to see, you're able to apply. If you're in Morris County and you apply for the Morris grant thing, what they do is they connect with you. So what they'll do is you put in an application, but they'll call you up and do the process with you on the phone. So this week, if you've done all that I've told you to do, and again, your homework is just for your own good. I'm not going to review it. I will review it if you want to review one-on-one. And I want to tell those online, and I want to tell those that are in the room, because I work with NJ, the SBDC, I can do with you up to 6 hours of free consulting one-on-one, and the state will cover it, especially those that are Morris County and Warren and part of the SBDC with Furley Dickinson. So what you can do is go online, apply, and then what I do as a consultant one-on-one, I sit down and analyze your finances, your business plan. I help you with the process of actually one-on-one helping you prepare your plan and prepare to succeed as a business owner. And I can give you up to 5 or 6 hours of that. So
What is the name of the website again?
you would have to go to SBDC forward/, no, it's NJSBDC / counseling. Let me get my card.
Actually, he sent it on the email. He sent it out on the email last week. The
Okay.
place you go to.
Boom. Here we go. So for those that are in the room, here's the card. It's njsbdc.com / counseling. So what you do is register, and when you register for that, the people from Fairleigh Dickinson will take your application, and you can say, I want to meet with Dr. Ed Ramirez. I want him to be my consultant. And then they will notify me, and then we will set up meetings and consultation where I can sit with you one-on-one. And the state is covering that through the CARES Act. So that's going to help you for free. That's another benefit that's offered by the New Jersey SBDC, especially the Morris County one. The business plan and objectives. The first thing that I want to talk to you a little bit is about review of the business plan. Define your company's mission statement, which is essential. It was part of the assessment. Describe the business opportunity. This here, you have to know this like the palm of your hand. Because when you sit with a banker, he wants to know what's the opportunity that you're offering and what's going to make you successful. And if you've never watched Shark Tank, this is what bankers will do. They're asking you, well, what's going to make you successful? And you can't say, well, I just think I got a good idea. You have to be able to describe your plan in detail. And I know some people are putting some stuff on chat. Let me see. And what I will do is do your chat later. Okay, and build your marketing plan. Okay. So the business plan is a tool that describes the goals and objectives of a business and demonstrates how the business will achieve them. So, and also what I tell you is you can go to the SBDC, njsbdc.com and see all the programs that are there. And all these programs are free. They're there for your benefit. We're here to help you. So what I would tell you is take advantage, go to the website, navigate around and see what the NJSBDC is offering from Fairleigh Dickinson and see how we can partner with you and help you. So the first thing is a business plan. You want to develop it. You want to succeed. And I gave those of you that are in the classroom here goals versus objectives. And this is one of the areas that most people make huge mistakes on. What's a goal? What's an objective? What's a goal? What's an objective? And if you guys that are at home got this handout that I gave or I sent it to everybody's email. If you did not receive it, then make sure in the chat you give me your email. It could be that your email is not correct, because what I do is I notify the class every single week of different materials that I'm going to hand out that I think is beneficial. So what are goals? A goal is a short statement of the desired outcome to be accomplished over a long time frame. So a goal in simplicity is I want to make $100,000 by the end of the year. That's a goal. It's the big picture. My goal is that by next year, I'm going to make $100,000 from my business. An objective is the little steps, and the way I'm going to get there, I'm going to make $10,000 a month. So at the end, I will have the 100,000, but I'm going to try to make at least $10,000 a month, so that maybe I can have 100 to 120,000 at the end of the year. So the goal is 120,000, let's say, but the objective is $10,000 per month. So the objective is the little steps that are going to make the goal a reality. It's like somebody says, you know what? Well, my goal is I'm going to lose 30 pounds. I am going to lose 30 pounds. And how long? I'm going to lose 30 pounds in 3 months. Okay. So if you're going to lose 30 pounds, that's the goal. What's the objective? The objective is I'm gonna lose 10 pounds, at least 10 pounds every single month in order to get to the 30 pounds, which is the goal. The handout explains it in details. Why is this important? Because everybody wants to succeed. And goals without objectives, you will never accomplish it. You gotta go from I should to I want. If you want to be successful in business, you gotta get that word off your vocabulary. I should. I know I should do this. I know I should do that. People that live in the world I should never accomplish anything.
Right.
People that say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna accomplish it, I'm going for it. This is my season and I'm starting now. The first thing is taking that first step, that first leap of whatever it is you're doing. In order to reach your goals, you have to take smaller steps, which are your objectives. Why is the business plan super important? Because the business plan, the first thing that the bank wants to see is what they call the executive summary. An executive summary is basically a small detail. If you look at the printout that I gave the class, I sent this to you guys.
Yeah.
We can do it consulting. We can do it consulting. So here they do the executive summary, and the executive summary, what do they put? The product. We can do it consulting provides consultation services to small and medium-sized companies. Our services include office management and business process re-engineering to improve efficiency and reduce administrative costs. Short, simple, to the point. I know who this consulting company is. What are your customers? The target audience for We Can Do It Consulting is business owners, human resources directors, program managers, presidents, or CEOs with 5 to 500 employees who want to increase productivity and reduce overhead costs. Again, it's simple, but this demonstrates to the bank that you know where you're going.
Right.
For example, I used to work with CDFI, and that's a small lending institution, and they would give small loans, like micro loans, anywhere from 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. And the first applications that would get rejected were those applications that we would ask, and how much money do you need? And as what would come out of their mouth was, how much do I qualify for? Well, you're dismissed right off the get-go. Your application is like canceled. We're not going to consider you any further. What you mean? How much do I qualify for? In other words, look, I don't know what I'm going to do with the money, but I want to know how much I qualify. What I tell business owners, you got to go there with your financial plan, which is the 5th part of the assessment. Startup cost, it's going to cost me X, whatever that is. And what are you going to do with that $100,000 loan? Well, I'm going to spend $20,000 in marketing. I'm going to have to rent a place, lease a place. I got to pay for liability insurance. I got to pay for workman's compensation insurance. I got to hire me a front desk administrator. So when you show the bank what you want the money for, the bank is more prone to partner with you. But when you can't show your startup costs and your financial need for your business, then the banks are less prone. The banks don't want to hear, believe it or not, they don't want to hear that you're going to tell them, well, I want to borrow $100,000, but because I got to cover my $50,000 salary. That's not a business loan you're going to get. You're going to get a business loan because you're looking to invest into the business in order to generate revenue in order to make your business a success. So your executive summary says a little bit of yourself, your product, your customers, and it talks about the future of the company. I see myself growing. I see myself leveling up in the next year or so. I see myself, whatever it is that you see your business. So that's why I told you to do primary market, secondary market, do those studies, because the more you can show yourself that you're prepared, that you know where you're going, you know your education. Education is important. The bankers are going to ask if they're going to give you a loan, what is your experience? If I say I'm going to go into construction and I'm going to open a construction company, and they ask me, hey, what's your experience? Well, you know what? I've never done construction in my life, but I think it's a great idea. Disqualified. You're not gonna get any money. You have to have experience to back up so that they can feel confident. Remember, the bank is not giving you money because they love you and they think you're a great person. They're giving you money because they think they can make money on you through interest. It's just the way the world goes around. Everybody wants to make a profit. Everybody wants to make some money. It's just the way it is. Your mission statement: to provide quality service to our clients that will help their companies prosper and grow. As more detailed as you can be in your mission statement, the better. The better. What is it that, why do you exist? Why should I want to do business with you? Why would I want to connect with you? That's your mission. And the mission is something you got to breathe. I tell people the mission is not just something that you throw out there. The mission has to be something that you really breathe and you really believe in what you do. You know, like here at the Morris County Economic Development Corporation and the chain, you know, my boss and I are successful because we're passionate about what we do. We just don't do this job and like, oh God, this is just a paycheck. And if that were the case, I would not be teaching 6 to 8 o'clock at night on a Tuesday night. But when you're passionate about what you do and you want to see people succeed, and we got testimony after testimonies of people that are succeeding, people that are opening their business, people that have taken microloans. When I used to work with the UCEDC, I have people that took microloans, $20,000, but I would look at them 3 years later and they're making $500,000 in sales. So for us to have given them a $20,000 seed, and now you're making $500,000 in business, it's like, great choice. Or this other lady, I had a lady that I helped her develop her business plan. And I remember she was pumped. She was excited. She was like, look, man, I want to open a business. I remember sitting down with her and I said, what are your goals? She says, well, I'm going to open a cleaning company. Oddly enough, I'm going to open a cleaning company. Okay, what's going to make you different? Well, you know what? I'm an expert at buffing floors. And who's your target audience? Man, I want to go after the Verizon stores. And I said, okay, and how are you going to get in? Well, I know a manager. I know this. We worked it out. She went out. We gave her a $20,000 or $25,000 microloan. She goes out and does one Verizon. And I told her, I remember sitting in the meeting. I said, you got to do it better than anybody else. Even if you're losing money initially, you clean those floors better than anybody else. She did it. Before long, she had 30 Verizons in New York. Wow. From one, she got 30. She went from, initially when we started, it was like $20,000, $25,000. This lady was scheduled to make in her 4th year of business, 4th year, $1.4 million. Wow. So that's a success story. That's something that you're like, look, that's what you want to see with your people. But they did this. She sat with me and we did the executive summary. And then I said, what's your mission? And then she said, well, I'm going to clean offices better than anybody else. I'm going to do commercial offices. I'm going to take all the Verizons. I'm going to turn them around. I'm going to polish their floors. I'm going to, well, while everybody else was just cleaning the floors, she was coming in, stripping, waxing. She was like making them. So she got the business and then she came back for a second loan from us. And this time she was asking like for a $225,000 loan to buy new machines and new equipment. She got approved by the CDFI this quick. You know, she got approved for her loan. Business description. And again, if you look at the sample that I gave you, which comes straight from the SBA, you know, you have to, who am I? What am I doing? What I want to accomplish, what I stand for, what I believe in. That's super important. And then you do your marketing plan. And the marketing plan, again, did you do your market research? That's what the bankers want to know. Do you know your probabilities of success? Do you know your probabilities of failure? Do you know what you want to accomplish? Have you done primary study, secondary study, which we covered last week? Have you looked at that? Have you looked at, you know, and if you were not in class, and even for those that are online, if you were not in class, what I recommend, go to YouTube and watch the video. I'm posting the videos every week. I edit, and even this one will be up tomorrow because I want you to go back and get that. So, you know, again, on the market research, your industry, detailed description of your customers. And I said this day one, when you start doing your marketing plan, please don't write on your marketing, who's your customer? Everybody. Not everybody is your customer. You can't supply everybody. So you gotta have a targeted niche that you're going after, and you wanna be competitive there. And then operations and management. Show the bank that you have an operations team, that your team is reliable, that you know what you need. You know, I need the operations manager. I need somebody in the front desk. I need administrative assistant. I need an accountant. I need a bookkeeper. I need a lawyer. What is it that you need, especially at your startup cost? And then your financial plan. How do you plan to substantiate yourself? How are you going to support your business? What is your plan? You cannot go to a bank and tell the bank, well, I'm going to support the business on the loan. The loan is basically just to get started. But what they want to hear is that you have a plan that will support your business, not only your business, but will support you. Because eventually you want to get the business to a place that if you quit your job and you were making $50,000 a year, you want to make sure that that business produces $50,000 to replace the revenue that you're letting go of. Because the fact is, if you're not doing good personally, your business is not going to do good. So then is that constant analysis.
All right, so it's normal to basically have a job while trying to focus on your business. That's a normal thing to do.
It's a normal thing to do as much as possible, unless you have somebody that can hold the household together while you launch full-time in your business. In the case of a couple, can you guys live on one income so that the other one can focus on the business? In my case, that's never happened. So I've always had to work 2-3 businesses. So I would work my full-time job that gave me health insurance and gave me my regular paycheck. And then I would get out of my regular job at 5 o'clock, and I would run to do my second job. And whether that took me till 12, 1 o'clock at night, it didn't matter, because I was building it up. And then the income that I initially started generating from that, I was throwing that in the bank so that I was able to save enough where I knew if I let this thing go, I had enough money in the bank to support myself and not hurt my family. So it's always analysis, it's always study, it's always, because some people say, I want to be an entrepreneur, but how disciplined are you? Because if you want to be an entrepreneur, you got to be super, super disciplined, because now you got to deal with things that other people don't deal with. So and I'll take your question in a minute. For example, like when you become an entrepreneur, right now you work for somebody, they pay half of your Social Security and half of your Medicare. It's part of the added cost when somebody hires you. So out of your check, all they're taking is the other 50% for Social Security and Medicare. When you become self-employed, you got to pay the 100% because nobody's paying that 50% for you. So at the end of the year, right from the get-go, you're going to pay 15.3% just in Social Security and Medicare. That's whether you made a penny or not. Every money that you draw for yourself, you got to pay taxes on every quarter, every 3 months. So that's important.
So I remember you were saying like something about being disciplined. Like, would you say the business being inconsistent, would that play a factor in how disciplined you are, in a sense?
In a sense, you know, you could try and discipline. When I talk about being disciplined, discipline has to be knowing your expenses, knowing your revenue, knowing that initially you're running your business as tight as you can. Now, there's some things that you could do to save money, but initially in the business, you got to be super tight. And where I see small businesses get in trouble, you know, my boss and I talk about it all the time because we run our own business. Aside from working here, we run our own business. And you could have, at the end of the quarter, you might look at your checkbook, and for the person that's not trained, you see $30,000 in there. You're like, man, I got $30,000 in the saving account. Well, whoever's not trained, that at the end of the quarter, you got to pay payroll taxes and you got to pay sales taxes and you got to pay all your taxes. They can spend that $30,000. The thing is that the government doesn't like to wait. So now you just got yourself in a heck of a hole.
Right.
So you got to be disciplined that when you see money, you do your analysis and say, okay, I got to pay my quarterly taxes. I have 30. but really my quarterly taxes are gonna run me 20. So in reality, all I have is 10. You know, because you're saving from every check that you get, knowing that at the end of the quarter, you're gonna have to pay those taxes. So
I'm sorry, is it 30%?
I tell people always put aside 30%, because remember, you got federal, state, you got Social Security, Medicare, you got federal taxes, and you got state taxes in the state of New Jersey. So 30% is a good number to put aside. And then, of course, with your accountant, he will analyze, and after the first year, he will give you what's called 1040 estimated coupons. And he will tell you every quarter, send this estimated payment in, because after the first year, you'll have an analysis of how much you should be paying every quarter. So your accountant will be able to help you after the first year and help you stay on track to avoid penalties and stuff. And then, of course, your financial plan. What is that financial plan? What is it that, how are you gonna substantiate? Okay, after you get the loan, how are you gonna support your business? And what the bank is asking at that point is, what do you anticipate your revenue to be? What do you anticipate cost of goods sold? And what do you anticipate your net balance to be? And then, you know, you subtract taxes and what is left from there. So they want to see that full report and at least a good guesstimate. Because most business loans, for example, I've worked with small community banks, and small community banks, what they do is usually they will ask you for your tax return, which has your Schedule C, every year to see how you're doing financially for the longevity of the loan, whether the loan is 5 years, 10 years, 7 years. So they're going to ask for that because they want to see, are you profitable? Are you becoming a risk? And they can call the loan on you. Most business loans, they'll put in that if they see that you're starting to slip, they can call the loan because they prefer to call it early than to get in a hole later. So
Right.
those are things that, of course, you ask the banks and stuff like that when you go for a loan.
How exactly do you like clean that up from the past, in a sense? Like how exactly would you clean that up?
To clean like what up?
Like, let's say if you have, like, you know, you're trying to get better and like you have a history of it, like you said, slipping, is you just have to deal with it and just.
You got to deal with it and have, I tell most business owners, try to have a good year where you're paying your bills on time and where you're paying early and where you're staying yourself above the curve without dips. Usually after a year, your credit score starts to come up and you start to see that you're doing way better, no matter what your mistakes in the past look like.
So a year is what they.
So about a year, you should see your credit score really go up. So this is what a business plan deals with. Again, your executive summary, mission statement, business description, marketing plan, operations, and financial plan. A clear and concise description of the purpose for the existence of a business. Your mission statement is your values, is who you are. The clearer your mission statement, the better for your business. You want to show that you know who you are, that you know the service that you're providing, that it is a service that is going to benefit the consumer, that you have something to offer, that you're going to provide a service that is wanted by your consumers. You know your market, you know your customers, you've done your research, and this is my mission. This is what I live to do. So that's very important. What is your business opportunity? What the business is, who you are, what product service is, what makes you unique. What makes you unique? And again, I keep asking, and you're going to hear it 1,000 more times in this course, you know, what is your business opportunity? What do you offer? What makes you unique? What will give you a cutting edge? Why would I want to do business with you? And you got to be ready for those questions, because whenever you go to a consumer to sell yourself, don't get offended when they ask you, why should I do business with you? And they're not looking to hurt you or to minimize you. They're looking for a response of confidence. And you got to be able to say, well, you know, I offer consulting services. I sit down, I I review your books A to Z. I help you with your plan. I help you with your marketing. I help you with your primary market, secondary market. I help you with the bank. I'll help you develop your executive summary. So when the bank reads it, it's clear, it's concise, it's to the point. I help you analyze your target market. Who are you going to sell to? At what price can you sell where the consumer will want to buy it? And it's supported by the market. You know, supply and demand. Because sometimes people oversell too.
You said people over what?
People oversell.
How, I don't understand.
For example, let's say that you're selling widgets. You sell widgets. And you know that all you could get based on your money, based on your business is 1,000 widgets. That's all you can afford to get. So I know I can't sell more than 1,000. But now an opportunity comes up or you start promoting, you know, to customers, I can sell 20,000 widgets. Well, that's way above what you're able to offer. And sometimes we oversell ourselves, not analyzing, can I really supply? Can I meet the demand? Will I have the money to meet the demand? Because if you're waiting to sell 2,000 or 3,000 to get that money in order to buy another 2,000, 3,000, you're not going to meet that order until way. So I tell people, plan. You got to plan, because when you start to grow, don't oversell yourself and always be honest. You know, this is what I can supply. You know, for example, you guys are bakers. If you go to a company and they say, well, you know what? I want to do business with you, but you know what? I need 10,000 brownies a week. It's a heck of a deal. But can you guys produce 10,000 brownies a week? You know, the fact is, no, you would go crazy. Mary would go totally crazy. How am I going to supply 10,000 brownies a week? So don't oversell. Always stay within your range and say, you know, I want to get to that and I will work to get there. But right now, what I can supply honestly is this. Honesty keeps you out of trouble.
Right.
When you oversell, that's when you get in trouble.
Okay, so, but what if you don't know, like, what if you couldn't estimate that though? Like, what if your scaling was just off in a sense?
You can't be off. That's why we do an analysis. You're the expert. You're the expert.
I mean, the situation that I was in, it's like, I'm past it now. So it's like, but I had to experience it to know what was considered off in a sense, you know?
And you do test, but I tell people, test the market in little steps. Because sometimes if you try to grow too fast and you try to scale up without the backing or even the administrative help to back you up, you can end up failing. Because then if you're a lone ranger, you're the one doing everything, and you scale up too fast and you don't have a team behind you, instead of success, you'll probably end up in failure. Most small businesses that open up, unfortunately, statistically, most small businesses fail within the first 5 years of business. And that's because they haven't set a plan to scale up slowly and to be consistent. Some want to go from A to Z super fast, but if you don't have a team that's going to help you to scale up, you can end up really messing yourself up. And once you damage your reputation, and once you damage your mission statement, you only hurt yourself.
That's right.
So it's very important to scale up slowly and always study, analyze, test. So what is your business opportunity? What is your marketing plan? Marketing plan becomes essential because you have to figure out how much is going to be advertising, how much is going to be branding, how much is going to be publicity, pricing, strategy, sales promotion, public relations, product placement, direct marketing, sales. This is the whole cycle just of the marketing. Plus, you've already studied primary research, secondary research. So you've already done all that other stuff as well. So you got to look at your full plan. And then you got to sit with it and analyze it and scale up a little bit at a time. Because most true marketing companies that want to help you succeed, most of them are going to be honest with you. Because if what I want is your success, they're going to be honest with you and say, okay, what parts of marketing can you do? You know, how can we help you? You know, maybe you don't have to do research right now. You know, research and development, I mean. You gotta do research, primary, secondary, but maybe you're not in a place where your business right away has to do research and development. Maybe I gotta focus on advertisement, I gotta focus on branding, I gotta focus on publicity.
Oh, okay.
I gotta focus on pricing right now. Pricing is important. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that the small business owner makes is this. He says, well, if I charge cheaper than anybody else, I'm probably gonna get the sale. No, don't ever do that. When you want to sell your product, stay within what the market will support, or even be a little bit higher because your service is a little bit better. If you devalue yourself, thinking that you're gonna get more business, that's not true. You gotta set your price at a market level, meaning what the market is willing to pay for it, or a little bit higher because my service is good. But if you minimize what you charge, people tend to give it less value. As a matter of fact, we see it in every aspect in life. People are more prone to show up for something that they pay something. And when they pay nothing, it's easy to say, I'm not going to show up today. I'm just not going to show up. Well, it didn't cost you anything. But when you have some skin in the game, then it's like, I got to show up. I paid $100 for that conference. You best believe I'm going to show up and be there. And it's just human nature. What you don't pay for, you don't usually appreciate it as much as what you have to pay for. So I tell entrepreneurs, don't cheapen your product, don't devalue. Sometimes we think about discounts. That's not always the solution. I think you're better off showing a quality product, a quality service, charging for it adequately, where people feel I'm getting some value for this. Cheaper is not always better. And once you minimize your value, it's hard to get it back. Because then somebody will come back and say, but wait a minute, you were just charging $10. Why now you charging $15? Well, all along your product was worth $15, but you started 10 because you wanted to come into the market. But now when you raise it up to 15, it becomes a shock, and people are like, oh, you're trying to rip me off. You were at $10. Well, they don't understand that at $10 you were losing money. They don't understand that at $10 you were hurting yourself.
Is that why you're saying the cost of goods is important?
That's why the cost of goods sold is important. Like, you got to analyze all that in the beginning.
Sold. Wait, that's how you said that?
Cost of goods sold. What happens is this, and let me explain that to you. Cost of goods sold is this. I'm going to build a screen. I'm going to build this screen. This screen sells in the market for $10,000. But if I'm going to build it, the cost of goods sold is, I know I got to buy all this material to build this screen. So my cost for this screen is $7,000. So my cost of goods sold is $7,000. The market sells for 10. It's the best price in the market. So there's a $3,000 difference. Now the entrepreneur that's not trained would say, well, we're going to spend 7, we'll sell for 10, that's 3,000. That's not true. I got 3,000 left. Within those 3,000, I got to figure marketing. I got to figure my support staff. I got to figure utilities. I got to figure taxes. I got to figure everything with $3,000. Can I go into business buying cost of goods sold $7,000 and selling for $10,000, which is what the market supports? There's only a $3,000 rate. How do I work around that to try to pull as much profit from the $3,000 that's left? Because this screens, no matter where I get them from to build them, is $7,000. So again, you got to do the analysis and see, do I have the skill set? Do I have the marketing? Do I have the administrative staff? Do I have the sales team? And what is all that going to cost? And maybe if I pay all that, at the end, I might have left $1,000, or I might have left $500. So if I know that net is $500 per screen, how many screens do I need to sell to make enough money to save, to survive, and to live a comfortable life? So then maybe my sale of these screens is based on volume, not just at 2 or 3 screens a week. Because if I sell these screens at 10,000, I sell 3, anybody looking at my book say, well, wait a minute, you just sold $30,000 in screens. Out of that 30,000, 21,000 is cost of goods sold. That's what it cost me to buy the material. So in reality, I didn't make 30,000. I'm playing with about 9,000. Out of that 9,000, how much will I walk away? Maybe I'll walk out with 2,000. So that's why all this is constant analysis, constant review, constant pricing. And what is it going to look at the end and at the very bottom? And that's why I say you need a consultant, you need a coach, you need somebody next to you initially, because you need your CPA, you need your lawyer, because somebody's got to help you do those kind of cost analysis. And of course, you might be able to get parts a little bit cheaper, but you know what? Instead of 7,000, I know I could get it cheaper for somewhere. Okay, so I could get it instead of 7,000, I can get it for 6,500, but that only gives me $500 more to play with. So this is important. Creating your marketing message. What is your message? What is your message? You know, what are you trying to convey? What are you saying about yourself? If it's a service, what are you saying about your service? If it's a product, what are you saying about your product? So what is your marketing message? Do you want to build a slogan that when people hear we do it right, they remember it's you? You know, have it your way. You know, just do it. All those slogans is attached to a brand. So do you want to build a slogan that when people hear it, they attach it to your product? They know that that's you. So crafting your marketing message is super, super, super important. Reaching your target market. Your marketing message must appeal to the customers that are the best fit to purchase your products and services. So again, who are they? Who am I touching? Am I selling to children? Am I selling to boys? Am I selling to girls? Am I selling to corporate America, businesses? Am I selling to private home cleaning service? And I'm selling to bakeries? Or am I selling to suppliers where they're going to relabel my product and put their name on it? And all I'm going to sell wholesale and somebody's going to sell my product resale. So again, you got to analyze what's my target? Who am I looking to do business with? The 5 P's of marketing. These are essential. Write these down. Whenever you have a product or a service, you have to have the 5 P's of marketing. Number 1, product. What's your product? Make sure you identify it. Make sure you know it like the palm of your hand. Make sure you know the ins and outs, the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, the strong, the strength, the weakness, the opportunities, the threats. Know your product. Number 2, place. Where am I going to place that product? Am I going to place it in bodegas? Am I going to place it in stores? Am I going to place it on the internet? Am I going to place it on Amazon.com? Am I going to place it on an online platform, or am I going to place it on an actual store? Will it be a novelty store? Will it be just a regular store? Where am I going to place my product? 3, price. What's the price that's going to support me? What's the price that's going to give me the benefit that I want and still sell at a competitive market price? What does the market support for supply and demand? Supply and demand becomes essential in any business that you're running. Supply and demand. So you want to make sure you balance the 2. Packaging. What packaging are you going to use? Especially now, packaging is getting more expensive. For example, now here in New Jersey, supermarkets, you can't have plastic bags. The other day, I felt like laughing because my wife forgot her plastic bags at home, and she goes to Target, and she comes out with her cart and all her products, but there's no bag. You know, so we're trying to put product by product in the cart. I'm like, times are changing. So again, what your packaging is going to be? What's your advertising? What do you want to show? Are you going to put graphics? Are you just going to put standard packaging? What's going to make you different? And then your promotion. What is your promotion? And sometimes in a promotion, you want to do a deal. You know, you might say, you know what, for the first 10 people, we got this promotional going on. Promotionals are always good, especially when you're putting a new product in the market. So again, product, place, price, packaging, promotion. Make sure all 5 are part of your marketing strategy, because that can make you or it can fail you. It can help you succeed or it can cause you to fail. So it's very important that when you look at this, you keep your 5 P's always running. You know what? And keep this in mind: product, place, price, packaging, promotion. All right, pricing strategy. It is so essential in your pricing, and this is where people make most of their mistakes, is cost plus market-based pricing premium. All 3 are super important, and we're going to discuss all 3 and why it's so important. So the first thing you want to do in your cost structure analysis is direct costs, cost of goods sold. That is, what is the product costing you raw? You know, what is the expense you're going to incur? That is very, very important. Overhead, general and administrative expenses. You have to take that into consideration. That is part of the cost structure. Cost of capital, return, debt repayments, or return on investment. Today, for example, I tell people, do your ratios. Do your ratios to see where you are financially. Take all your monthly bills. Let's say I have $2,000 in monthly bills, and I bring an income of $6,000. You take 2,000 divided by 6,000, that'll give you about 33%. That's a good ratio. So it's about 33% of total revenue and expensive. That's not bad. Most Americans today, based on statistical data, are averaging somewhere in the neighborhood of over 50%. Starts to be dangerous. Some people are 70, 80%. So the way you analyze that ratio is you take your total revenue, all the revenue that's coming in, and you take all the expenses that you're paying every month. Your monthly payment for your car, for your loans, for your mortgage, for you, whatever your monthly payments are. So you take that expense, let's say it's 2,000. So I have monthly expenses 2,000. I take 2,000 divided by 6,000, which is total revenue that comes into the house, and that'll give me my ratio. So I might be at 34%, 33%, which is not bad. But when you start getting over 50%, that's when you have to be very careful about your expenses are pretty high in comparison to the revenue that's coming into the house or coming into the business. So it's important that you do that quick analysis. Expenses divided by total revenue that comes in a month. You got to figure the owner's salary. If you're going to work a business, you got to figure out, what is my worth? What can I draw from the business? What can I draw that can be on a consistent basis? I tell the employers, the owners, as quickly as possible, try to set something that is consistent. I know you want to make $1,000 a week, let's say, but your business can't support to give you $1,000 a week, but it can support to give you $500 a week without blinking an eye. I tell you, start at $500 a week, and then you can work out some bonus structure or whatever, but at least you know every week you can count on $500 a week, because your business can produce that $500 a week without an issue. It's better than trying to draw $1,000 a week and your business can't substantiate it. Your business can't support it. So this week I took 1,000, but next week I can't take 1,000 because I don't have 1,000 in the checking account. So that type of fluctuation is not good even for your business. So try to set a number that can be steady until you can grow your business. Retain earnings, reinvestment in the business. You know, the money that's left over, if at the end of the year, I made a positive 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, what am I going to reinvest into the company? What am I going to keep in the company? Where most entrepreneurs make a mistake again is the end of the year, they do their profit and loss, they do their net, they pay their taxes, and then there's money left over and they want to party with that money. Remember, next year, you're going to have bills. Next year is another year. So you got to start thinking, how do I build up the capital in my business? And the capital you build in your business is not your personal capital. It's your business capital. If not, you're never going to grow your business. If you start thinking, well, that's my money, I want to write a check out of that because I got 1,000 here. That's not a way to run a business.
Right.
Try to separate from the business, let the business support you, let the business grow, build some retained earnings so that the business can be self-supporting in the future. Super, super important. Is your price a fit for your target market? In other words, your market, based on your analysis, you did primary research, secondary research, based on my market analysis, I can sell my widgets for $10. And if I go to different stores, $10 is a good going rate. Don't charge 20 unless you got a premium and your widgets have gold on them or your widgets do something that other widgets don't do. You might not have the ability to charge a premium. So then you got to stay at the market rate. Demand, supply and demand, supply and demand. The best analysis is that the supply that you have is what's in demand. And you can kind of zero that straight across. Nobody wants to keep inventory for too long. So what you want to be able to do is order right on time. For inventory, what most companies are doing now is order right on time because of Amazon and stuff that they can order in a day. People plan it and they kind of do their contracts, they do their inventory, and then they say, okay, I'm going to need exactly 10 2x4s. I'm going to order exactly 10, but I'm going to order it the day that I start work. So they time the shipping and everything. So it's just right on time so that they're not out the money for too long. So very few companies are keeping large inventory now. That's why if you look at Amazon, Amazon can deliver something sometimes the same day or sometimes the second day. And everybody's ordering on time because holding inventory can be expensive. And the problem with holding inventory is that prices are fluctuating. So let's say you pay for something $20 a piece, but if you hold it for too long and prices go down, now you have to sell at a loss just to get rid of the inventory. So I tell people, especially when you're starting out, try to leave your inventory right on time. Exactly when I need it, that's when I'm going to do the business. Market vehicles, choose the best way to reach your target customers with your budget. So you got to ask yourself, what's effective? Should I do Facebook ads? Should I do Instagram ads? Is that beneficial for my type of product? Should I do the number one thing, word of mouth? You know, should I go and do an open house? You know, if I was selling, in the case like you guys sell brownies and cakes, go to a restaurant, do a little open house at the restaurant and see if you can get expanded to word of mouth. You know, what's the best vehicle for your product?
Right.
And you got to find that, whatever that niche is. Is it Instagram? Is it Facebook? Is it all the other ones that they have out there? What's your target audience that might buy your product? Is it the young people, the older people? Right now, Facebook is for the older crowd. You know, you want 40 and above. Those are usually the people that have money or want to deal with older crowd. You go to Facebook. You want to go to a younger crowd, you go to Instagram. You know, and the different platforms that they have. So where are you going to place your product? Prepare the marketing budget. A lot of people don't like to invest in marketing. They think marketing is a waste of money, but I tell you what, marketing is essential if you want to succeed. Right now, we're getting bombarded with marketing all day. You look at, you go to watch a movie, there's marketing. You go to on TV, anything, you're seeing marketing. You see marketing everywhere. Now you go on Instagram, you see marketing come up. Your phones are listening to you. Just speak to your phone today and say window treatments. I'm looking for window treatments. I guarantee you next time you go on your phone, a bunch of window treatments are going to start showing up on your phone. So everything is marketing. Why? Everything is catching your attention. So then you have to ask yourself, what's going to catch somebody's attention to want to do business with me? You know, what's my strategy? How am I going to get people to plug in with what I have to offer? Next week, Next week, you're gonna prepare your mission statement. Now, remember, what you're preparing now is your business plan. And the business plan is essential. I would tell you to look at your sample that I gave you. I gave you two of them, two marketing strategies. Look at them because they come straight from the SBA. And these are gonna help you to kind of get the whole idea. And start developing your own business plan. You know, we can do a consulting, and then I gave you the other one, which is the toy business. Look at them. Prepare your statement. Start preparing your business plan now. I've given you all the tools, all the information. Start putting it together because one day we would like you to present your business plan to a bank. And we're going to do a competition from this course where we're going to invite you back to present your plan for money before real bankers. And if your plan is solid, maybe those bankers will even give you a loan in the future. So prepare a first year marketing budget. Think in terms of year. What is the whole year going to cost me? How much money should I lay aside for my marketing? Should I lay aside 10,000, 15,000, 20,000? How much money am I going to set aside for marketing? Some people say, I'm not going to market. Market is a waste of money. The more people that get to know about your product, the better the probability of you making a sale.
Right.
Marketing is super, super vital. For the reading, you don't have to read this here. What you should be reading is, initially, I gave you guys the whole portfolio of the SBA. If you read that through, study it through, that's going to give you ideas that come straight from the SBA. All we're trying to do is give you ideas. Now you got to start putting these ideas together. And this is where it's going to separate the students in this class. Those that are serious will start preparing a business plan and say, I'm going to go for it. Those that are not so serious are going to say, this is too much work. I ain't got work to type this stuff up and do all this work. Who's got time for that? Well, if you ain't got time to do a business plan, you definitely don't have time to run a business.
Exactly.
Because business plan is the first step of wanting to run a business successfully. Everything that I do a business plan. I do it for my nonprofit. I do it for my business. I do it for everything that I do. I got a plan. I know where I'm going. I'm constantly thinking, how do I improve it? How do I make it better? How do I make better assessment? How do we grow it? How do we? So it's constant, because this is not a one-off. This is not just, I did it and I'm done. If you're going into business, it's a continuum. This is something you start and never ends unless you get out of business. And even if you get out of business, you're going to end up working for somebody. So the fact is that once you jump into this boat, there's going to be a lot of work. There's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of probabilities, but you got to get yourself together. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. I know that Matt, thank God for Matt. Matt has been answering for those online and for those in the class. If you have any questions, of course, you can ask those questions now. I will try to answer them. We got the speakers, so those that are online, if you want to stay on, and if there's anything I can help you with, then of course I'll do that as well. Are there any questions?
Since we already started our business, so do we kind of do in the middle startup plan again, or just kind of?
What you need to do, since your business already started, I would do an analysis, because now you have real factual data.
Right.
What worked? What made you successful in the beginning? Why are you stagnating now or growing now? And then do more of that or less of that. So at this time, what I would do is analyze, what's going to leverage my business to keep growing? Because you already have real numbers, you already have real customers. So now, how do I leverage that? How do I go to my next level? So now that's what you should start doing now, is analyzing that.
Okay.
And one more question. We were thinking about a mobile truck. I think that's what you say. A mobile truck
Food truck.
a mobile food truck to do the business with. So it would be no overhead. You think that's a possible thing? Is that something?
It is possible, but there is an overhead, because even if I do a mobile truck, there's gas, there's propane, there's, depending what you're gonna cook, what you're gonna sell, there's still a cost associated with that, plus the cost of obtaining the truck.
Yeah.
So what you would have to do your analysis is, okay, I'm gonna buy a truck, it's gonna cost me $20,000, but then I gotta get propane, I gotta get gas, I gotta get this, I gotta get that. do a total budget, a total analysis, and then say, okay, let's say at the end, I'm spending $30,000. How long will it take for me to recover that money? Is it worth it? So that's the type of analysis you got to do. And whatever you do, it has to pay itself off eventually, and you have to make money on it.
Mm.
That's the end result. So you have to analyze those costs, and then how long is it going to take to recover those costs, and is it worth going that route?
Mm.
And
So
you
then
have
it
to
goes beyond
convince the
idea.
bank.
Huh?
And you have to convince the bank that this can happen.
Yeah.
that
The
this
thing
will
is
work.
that with the bank, you got to show them that it can work, but then the bank wants to see the back. You've done your research, you've done your analysis, you have a market, people are interested, and you are a good risk. At the end of the day, the bank wants to know, are you a good risk?
Right.
So, you know, that, and that's when they're gonna ask you for collateral, because initially the reason that banks ask for collateral is not only to protect their finances, but it's to know, are you willing to put skin in the game?
Mm.
You know, it's like the house when they say come up with 20% down, and some people say, oh, 20% down is too much. All they're really asking you is to bring down your liability by 20%. That's all they're asking you.
Yeah.
But if you're not willing to bring down your liability by 20% when you buy a house, then why would I trust you with my money when you don't even want to bring your debt down by 20%?
Exactly.
So when you got these people that are buying a home for the first time and they say, well, you know what, I want to do 3% down, 2% down. To be honest, you're not a good risk, because you're really putting no skin in the game. If something went wrong and I put 98% of my money into your business and you only put 2%, who's more prone on walking away? The person that put in 98% or the person that put in 2%? So you got to think the way the bank thinks. The way the bank thinks is like, if you're not willing to put skin in the game, I'm not doing business with you. At least show me that you want to put 10% into your own belief, into your own system, and to what you're telling me to finance for you, but you're not willing to put a penny, you haven't saved. I tell entrepreneurs, you can't go to a banker and show all these years you've made all this good money, but you don't even have $10,000 saved in the bank.
Come on.
What have you done with all your money? But you're expecting me to believe that all your life you haven't been able to save $10,000. But you want to borrow from me $100,000 that you're telling me you're going to pay back.
Mm.
So in order to become a successful business owner starts by being a good steward of your finances.
Finance. Yeah.
And if you could show them I'm a good steward, I know how to save, I know how to budget, I know how to manage my money, banks are more prone to come and stand by you and help you. If you can't show that, they don't care how good your idea is, they know you're not a good manager. And if they know you're not a good manager, they're not going to give you money. They're not going to give you money.
Make a lot of sense.
So it's so important that you become a good steward of your finances and that you start putting money aside so that you can put your own skin into the game. If you're not willing to take a risk on yourself, why should I take a risk on you?
Make a lot of sense.
And I tell people that's the poor man's mentality. So you got to get out of that. I'm putting skin in the game. I'm putting my own money, and I'll make it or I fail, but my money's on the line.
Mm.
If you feel I'm going to lose my money and I can't put my money on the line, that's the wrong business. Don't get into business.
Mm.
If you can't trust yourself to succeed, don't. Business is risky. I can't put it any other way, but it's also rewarding. Any questions? You guys are gonna walk out of here thinking your head is gonna they're gonna be up all night like, what did he just say? My head is spinning. Well, for those that are online and for those that are in class, I want to thank you for class. Next week, we're gonna meet next Tuesday. Instead of the following Tuesday, we're gonna meet next Tuesday. And we're just gonna wrap it up. Next week is the last class. Then we're gonna, I spoke to Craig, we're gonna get together in order to then invite you guys back to compete for a competition that we're gonna do where you present your business plan.
Man.
So make sure you take all the notes from this week, write your business plan, start writing, start putting it together. Make sure you go to the SBDC/counseling, NJ SBDC/counseling, go there, request a counseling session, request for me. At Furley Dickinson, they will assign you to me. I can sit with you one-on-one and can give you more help in order to help you make your business plan a success. So we're here to serve you, to help you. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next Tuesday right here, 6 to 8. Thank you.